1, 2, beautiful. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. I was just down the street and somebody pulled over and said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "I'm covering the 30th anniversary of the riots." And he told me a bunch of stories. And one thing he said, unsolicited, was it didn't stop until Curtis Sliwa showed up. What are your recollections of these riots 30 years ago?
I remember all of a sudden there was a traffic accident right there on Utica Avenue and President Street. Young boy gets pinned against the wall by the Rebbe's entourage. Tragically, he dies. Place goes wild. A young black man running through the streets, young West Indians, kill the Jews, kill the Jews. Then 1 block away from here on Brooklyn and President, they find Yankel Rosenbaum, rabbinical student, Melbourne, but trained martial artist. So they try to attack him. He starts throwing spinning hook kicks, reverse punches, starts knocking some of them down. Lemrick Nelson takes a knife and then guts him, stabs him multiple times. They take him to Kings County. They didn't find some of the wounds. He bled out. He died. Then a heavy rain came, and everybody retreated into their homes. No one paid attention to what was happening here. Why? Because Gorbachev and Raisa were taken prisoner in the Crimea in their dacha by the generals who were there in Red Square. So everyone thought, oh, my God, it's the old Soviet Union again. Nobody paid attention. And then all of a sudden the rain stopped and the rioters came out and were attacking Jews. And David Dinkins, the coward that he was, refused to let the police put it down, allowed 3 days of rioting to take place, told the cops to stand back until Sharpton led the rioters up this street. And we were right here, ready to confront him, right here on President and Kingston. And then they went right to Eastern Parkway, started throwing brickbats, rocks, bottles, and attacked David Dinkins in the public school 2 blocks away. That's when Dinkins had to retreat in fear, and he told Ray Kelly, put the riots down, which they did. But we stayed here 30 days, 30 nights, escorting Jews to and from 770 Eastern Parkway and making sure they were out of harm's way. But Jews and Gentiles were missing in action. So when they tell you I was there, no, you weren't, because I was here, and I know it was here, and I know most of you were not.
30 years have passed, and you were just out here, last year when these anti-Semitic incidents started again. So what's stayed the same, and what's changed in this neighborhood?
Well, look, there's some synergy. You had David Dinkins, who was in denial, who did nothing and left the Jews to their own means. And then the person he mentored to become mayor, de Blasio, instead of looking at the black thugs who were attacking Jews during that Hanukkah season and the emotionally disturbed, he blamed white supremacists, neo-Nazis, because this was right after Charlottesville. My phone blew up right before Shabbat. And the rabbis, the Lubavitcher community said, this guy's Meshug. He's Ubatz. He's Titched. Please bring the guardian angels again, in again. And we did. And we stayed here multiple weeks until things were calm. But not just in Crown Heights, in Williamsburg, and Borough Park, and Midwood, and Flatbush, and Rego Park, where these attacks were taking place. And the mayor, de Blasio, did nothing.
You've got a mayoral race of your own here, and you're courting heavily the Jewish vote in Crown Heights. What's the reaction been out here in this neighborhood on this particular occasion?
Well, those who are here in Crown Heights, they know what Curtis Sliwa and the Guardian Angels did. Those who were born afterwards, they've been told the story. But then also the leadership, is wanting to embrace Eric Adams. And I say, well, where was he during the Crown Heights riot? And wasn't that the time that he was having a intellectual relationship with Louis Farrakhan of the Nation of Islam? Now, I'm not saying that he's an anti-Semite or he's a follower of Farrakhan, but back then he was a follower of Farrakhan, and the guy who triggered off more of the riots, Al Sharpton, who's embraced by so many now. I will never forget what he did, and I will relate that to every new generation, that beware of the Eric Adamses of the world and the Al Sharptons who come and pretend to be your friends, but when you needed them, they were on the other side.
What have you seen in terms of cooperation?
Are you for Biden?
Am I for Biden?
No, what's your name?
My name is Curtis Sliwa of the
Oh,
Guardian.
very nice.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
I hope you do well.
Thank you, sir. Spread the word.
It seems like for a large extent there's been cooperation between the Jewish community and the black communities that live in Crown Heights. What have you seen that can be expanded upon to make sure that incidents like this don't happen on a regular basis?
Well, I think that comes from the Rebbe, Menachem Schneerson. I actually have used his language to his own community: improve, don't move. It's my campaign because everybody is fleeing New York City. The exit is to Miami, to Florida. No, stop. And he told his people, even after the riot, no, we're going to improve, not move. And I ended up getting 2 Rebbe dollars when he was giving his sermon on a Sunday that some people attribute to saving my life when I was shot 5 times with hollow point bullets on the orders of John Gotti Sr. to John Gotti Jr. to the Gambino crime family. Now, if they want to believe it was the Rebbe dollars, believe it. It certainly saved my life. Could have been Hashem, could have been JC. Doesn't matter, though. The point being is this community has remained, and blacks and West Indians, and now the ever-growing number of white hipsters and millennials understand the Lubavitch improved, they don't move, and they're going to be an entity here for many, many decades to come.
Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.